Another day of computer science. What did we learn? All right. Well, overall, the class today was mostly about comparing data types. You cannot compare strings with floats or ints, but you can compare strings to strings. Same with booleans. You can compare booleans, but you can't compare booleans to int strings or floats. Almost sneeze here. Comparing data types. We talked about the precedence, extended precedence. So parentheses, exponents, then negation, but they called unary operators. So making something positive or making something negative. And then multiplication, division, then addition, subtraction, then addition, subtraction, then relational operators, so equality operators, and they're relational operators, yeah. So relational and equality operators. Then logical and, then logical not, then logical and, then logical or. Right, in Python they call if else statements. Just generally they're called cascading if statements, and those are opposed to nested if statements, which are within other cascading if statements or if statements. He said some best practice for testing code when you're testing cascading if statements, nested if statements. Some best practice is to test at least the literals that are being compared in the conditional statements, as well as testing some things that are slightly within the range, like a number with slightly within the range, or numbers slightly within the ranges. So at least the literals, and then one slightly within the range for testing purposes. I think it was basically everything. Oh wait, one more thing. Comparing floating point numbers, we want to be aware that equality operators for floating points are not reliable because of the way that floating points are represented. They're represented as really like integers, integer division. So yeah, it gets a little weird when you're comparing if things are equal or not. It's not reliable. So let's just check that I got everything. All right, good. We didn't even talk about conditional expressions though. Those are ternary expressions. Is that what they're called? Ternary statements. There's 3 operands. So that's it for right now. I'll talk to you later today. See ya. Welcome back to computer science. What did we learn about yesterday? While loops. We were learning about while loops. And while loops execute the loop body while the condition is true. or the condition or the loop expression is true. That's essentially everything, right? What else would there have been? That's essentially everything, right? No? Alright, I just saw infinite loops. So infinite loops, this is a loop that never stops executing. Infinite iterations. It's best practice to include a range rather than just an equality operator for your condition or your loop expression, so that sometimes it doesn't hit your equality exactly, so a range helps catch a lot more. Not all infinite loops are unintentional, however, such as getting user feedback or user input for video games. And then there was some other type of sentinel values. Sentinel values are values that stop the execution of a while loop. So while loop runs a block of code repeatedly as long as the while condition is true. Sentinel value that causes the loop to end. Infinite loop never stops running because the condition is always true. Good practice is included greater than or less than along with equality in a loop expression to avoid unintended infinite loops. That's what I was kind of getting at. Not all infinite loops are unintended. Video games, user input, infinite loop, checking for user input. Okay. I'm going to jump back into some more lecture or some more textbook, and then I'll be back to recall what I learned in a little bit. All right, so welcome back to computer science. What? No, we already did this. We just started and worked through a lot of unit on, again, while loops, while loop examples. One example. What were the examples? The last example was taking you just enter as many input integers as you want, and it will find the average. But you say like the sentinel value is 0, so you say like 5, 5, and 5, and then 0. That will end it, and it will say the average of 5, 5, and 5 is 5. So the 0 is this not included, but it's the sentinel value that ends the while loop. Another program was basically communication. It was like a chat bot almost, but only questions were like, explain this more. What do you mean by this? Why do you say that? And the sentinel value there was goodbye and ends the while loop. And then there was another one that was kind of interesting, actually, that I didn't pick up on right away, but I got it eventually. I can't recall now. Something about numbers, maybe, or text. I don't remember. I can't remember, yeah, what the other one was. Oh. Yep. That was a floor division one with a modulus and a floor division to basically if you type in an integer, it'll output each of the digits one by one from right to left. Oh, there's something else about with like a string. Oh, that was an example. Anyway, or that was a question. Anyway, we learned about a docstring. What a docstring is. The docstring is denoted by triple quotes. It's a large multi-line string literal, and it seems to be at the front, to be at the beginning of the program to explain the program. It's almost like a comment. So that's what it appears to be so far. That's it for today. Just doing one session today. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.